So when a chiropractor unsticks these joints, sometimes amazing things happen. People say, I've had this other condition for years, like me, I had headaches for years, had no neck pain. When I injured my neck and the chiropractor started working on the neck, the headaches went away. Apparently I had a problem with that neck before I had symptoms. If you get stuck in fight or flight, you never rest and you never digest, which means your body starts to break down. You remember, your body is in a constant state of repair, and it's assessing your internal environment to see what it needs to repair. But if an outside threat comes along, it shuts that down and everything goes into running or fighting, fight or flight. That's the priority. When my wife looked at chiropractic, when I got injured initially and she went with me to the chiropractor, it dawned on her that 90% of those weight-bearing joints are between the sacrum, which is your tailbone, and occiput, which is the base of your skull. So the spine is sending the majority of information to your brain. And what does it do with that information? The brain is deciding, do I need to go into fight or flight, or do I need to rest and digest? Do I need to repair and be in parasympathetic mode, or do I need to be on guard and ready to fight in sympathetic mode? And so what chiropractors do is they unstick weight-bearing joints. The spine is a complicated structure orthopedically. It's a much more complicated structure neurologically. But orthopedically, those joints can get stuck. How do they get stuck? Well, they can get stuck from injury. It's very easy to injure a lot of little joints working as one, and that's what the spine is. And so what happens is if you do soft tissue damage, let's say you're sitting in a car, we just saw a little while ago, a little fender bender here, it taps the car in front of it, the car lurches, your head goes back and flies forward, and now you did microscopic damage to the tissues that hold it together, which is very complex, and scar tissue that replaces that tissue is not as flexible. So now you have a joint that's not fully moving through its range of motion. So there's less information going to the brain about proprioception, which is helping the brain to decide what should it fix, what shouldn't it fix. So when a chiropractor unsticks these joints, sometimes amazing things happen. People say, I've had this other condition for years, like me, I had headaches for years, had no neck pain. When I injured my neck and the chiropractor started working on the neck, the headaches went away. Apparently I had a problem with that neck before I had symptoms. And so what happened was he was fixing an old problem. He even said to me, you have degeneration at 2 discs in your neck. I'm like, I'm only 26 years old. Now this was a long time ago. And he said, you could have an injury that goes back years. And I started thinking, did I ever injure my neck? Oh yeah, when I was a kid, I had lots of injuries, knocked unconscious a number of times. I used to do martial arts, knocked unconscious a number of times, motorcycle accidents, 5 brothers trying to kill me, and I was trying to kill them, to be honest. We weren't really, we were just, brothers can be aggressive with each other. But there was plenty of opportunity for injury that could have set up the scar tissue to limit the motion in my neck, which apparently was causing me to have headaches. And when I restored that function, the headaches went away. And I stopped taking the amount of aspirin that could have put a hole in my stomach. I didn't have to take it anymore because I didn't have the headache. So that's what I'm talking about with functional correction versus symptomatic correction. That's why you hear stories about people saying, I went to the chiropractor and my hearing was restored. You'd say that's impossible. Not if the hearing deficit is caused by what I just described. Or I've had patients say to me, I couldn't smell for 20 years and you adjusted me and all of a sudden I can smell. I even had a couple patients, which was rare, but say that their vision improved. I had patients tell me that one guy was on a heart transplant list and he didn't come in for that. I was treating him for something else and they took him off the heart transplant list and couldn't explain why his heart all of a sudden started getting the correct signal from the brain. He swore it was me. I don't know, maybe it wasn't, but maybe he had a meeting with Jesus and they got some correction that way, which I believe in that too. But maybe I was the instrument that was being used to help that happen. So if you understand the science and you understand the difference between functional correction and symptomatic correction, and you look at it from that point of view, chiropractic looks completely different. People are starting to take that viewpoint. They're starting to realize chasing that symptom is probably not the best thing for them. And now the openings for chiropractors to be able to stand up and be able to deliver what they do to more people, I believe the future is going to be full of that. And I think this is the best opportunity for chiropractic ever in my lifetime.